Good morning, people. How's it going today? I am walking on the streets of Sevilla, so you might hear a little bit of noise. But hopefully, Buzzsprout Magic Mastering can take care of that. Anyway, welcome to season two. Sorry about the quick leave off on season one. I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it. This season, I'm going to be talking a lot about addiction, attachment, trauma bonds, meditation, yoga, things to do to heal from it and not from a second person disconnected sense. My last 2 months has been a series of chaotic up and downs in a relationship, breaking free of attachment, reattaching, um, becoming re-addicted to substances that I once had let go of and thought I was done with forever. And once again, letting go of them and feeling that just incredible withdrawal that comes with addictive substances. And many people think marijuana is not really addictive. However, I feel it, and each and every person is different. Their body is different, and mine is as well. For me, quote unquote, detoxing off of marijuana is fucking just as bad as when I detox off of fentanyl and heroin and opiates and shit like that. Man, sweating, crying up and down, like diarrhea and constipation, not eating, the whole works, and as I come into the season, like the first things I want to talk about are the beginnings. I don't even want to dive into what I'm doing yet right now, which is all coming together. Uh, Not even from me. I'm just following the path right now that is definitely placed on me from above, and I'm just listening to what's in front of me. So let's start. A couple months ago, I was in the midst of a relationship with a beautiful woman that I felt like deeply in love with. Her spirituality, her nature, her vibe, her smile, everything. And, when I met this woman a year ago or so, I promised myself that I was in the stage of life that I was going to take things slow and realize that I don't need to become attached and spend all my time with someone. And as I do, I like to make these mistakes, not twice, at least 4 or 5 times to make sure, I totally understand and probably make sure there's no other options. Anyway, so that, started a kind of a downward spiral because, as much as we love people and love things and how beautiful that love is to share, if we're not really doing what we need to do for ourselves, beforehand and then especially during and continuously in that relationship, things will slowly start to unravel because in business and life and love, usually, I would say 99, for me, probably 100% of the time, things don't unravel and come apart, usually due to external stuff. Usually start somewhere internally, missing something, lacking something, wanting something, or feeling like we're not enough. And for me, especially, that those thoughts and those feelings, once they creep in and take hold, and I don't give myself the consciousness and awareness and time to actually sit with them, then they take over. Then, as an amazing yoga teacher told me recently at a retreat, then I let the little children drive the car, which is the car of Rocky. And those little children are emotions, thoughts, and feelings. And that's a very dangerous place, especially when we're talking about those of us who came from a lot of trauma and addiction, pain, suffering, and just any kind of level of issues in the past. So it's something we have to be very conscious of. So, it's my second time actually during this relationship where I had started smoking marijuana as a means to numb out the problems I thought I couldn't solve, and the parts of myself that I didn't want to face and see that were pulling up resistance in relationship, as they would, right? We enter these beautiful loving relationships, half broken, half healed, always, because it's a lifelong journey. And it's not a bad thing or a good thing, and it might be for someone, it might not be. No one should have to be fixing me or taking care of me, but to hold the space for me, while I grow in myself daily and continuously, it's a whole different thing, and that's a beautiful thing. And then I've had that as well. Um, Teach their own. Everybody is not able to do and to hold space the way they need to. To be honest, like I'm getting a little off track, but that's the reason why I haven't myself jumped in, to trying to coach or help, like legitimately and full on, is because I'm still barely able to hold that space just for myself. I'm still, and I skipped a couple steps when I got in this relationship, and saw how she was doing, life coaching, and had issues, and was kind of like able to still hold that space, which is commendable and amazing. However, it's not what I'm able to do. I have a lot of things in my past, like first of all that I've made mistakes on, I'm learning to forgive myself on, and then there's situations that have arisen that have just been really, really traumatic and painful. Everything from violence in my past to robbing to getting robbed to being robbed. So the women and just the crazy sexuality and waking up in different beds to selling drugs and doing way too many drugs and putting myself and my body and my life in the hands of random strangers, random substances, and random vehicles, and random countries all across the world. And if you look at my life from afar and on social media, I try my best to kind of show both sides. That's why a lot of times my friends, my men, quote unquote, men friends, get kind of upset and don't like to hear me talk about that stuff. It's maybe it triggers something within them that they're not willing to share, whatever it is. For me, it helps to talk about it, and for me, it's important that if you're going to see me flying and traveling and balling and this and that, that you're going to have to fucking see what it took to get there, what I'm going through while I'm doing it, and the fact that it's not all fucking roses and sunshine, as they say. Most people who have these incredible businesses and stories and situations in life have a fucking story behind that shows you why they had no other choice. I don't believe I'm any different. This is the path I'm walking in front of me that was kind of placed in front of me. So the first time I started smoking, when I was in this relationship, I was using it the same as the second time. Just problems arose, and I was so happy with some parts of the relationship that I didn't want to intensify further. The parts I didn't like, I was trying to ignore my boundaries and ignore myself and make it work, right? Because I'm a lover. I'm an Aquarius, February 14th. I'm a dreamer. I want to see things work. I want to be happy. I want to make my woman happy. I want to have a family and a life. And I know I'll have it. I know everything needs to be done step by step sometimes. And it's okay. For me, although many people think marijuana is a very small thing, it's huge. What I realized, and this can sum it all up in one fucking sentence, I have really bad dreams, and I don't sleep very well, ever. Don't sleep very long, ever, either. However, when I smoke marijuana, I am able to knock the fuck out properly and sleep and not have a single dream and wake up, nicely later. However, when I smoke marijuana, I also lose the drive to chase and pursue my daydreams, the real things I want in life, the dreams I have for myself, for my world, for my family, for everything I come in contact with, and the impact I want to have. And I feel I'm really tough on myself a lot, like, because I know it's all part of the process and the journey. However, I get upset sometimes that I keep taking these steps backwards when I know these things, when I know what kind of impact and service I'm trying to make. And I feel like I'm almost doing a disservice at times because I'm not ready yet. And the world needs people like me. They really do. I need people like me. So, so yeah. My second time getting into smoking in this relationship, it was just a couple months ago. My coach, my girlfriend, and a couple other people in my life had kind of articulated to me that maybe I needed to slow down, and take a break. My business is going well, and just kind of slow my life down and enjoy it, which is a great piece of advice, and great for many people. Um, However, I tried it for a month, and I took it the wrong way, right? After a month, I don't know, I was just at such a point where I just didn't know what I was doing anymore, and the business I was trying to make and co-create with my then partner was just not really coming together. There wasn't any kind of blueprints or plans or any action steps taken. I started to get antsy and bored. And on top of that, obviously, relationship issues. There's things that are going to be going on. There's things that are not going to be. the way you want them to be. And the most important thing is being real with yourself and real with your partner, and being able to express that. And when I started smoking again, I lost that ability. I started ignoring things that mattered to me, and forgetting about my boundaries. And then I would blow up about it, weeks later, which is literally no one else's fault at all except my own. That's on my shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, however, the one caveat, the one thing that I can look back and smile and be like, Rocky, I'm proud of you, bro, is I'm aware of all this now. I'm conscious of it. And instead of smoking for 2 years or longer, or taking it down a whole different path, I was able to see that and get myself out of it. I got into a place of like neediness and like begging almost for help from my partner. And, um, for whatever reason, that didn't happen. And it might have been the best thing that ever happened to me, because I was put in a position to say, hey, like, there's no one else you're responsible to. There's no one else that really cares about it. Are you going to save your life, or are you going to let your life go down a path that you no longer want, that no longer serves you, and you no longer deserve what you've been doing in the world? One reason you would do that to yourself is just self-loathing and self-hate. And it was tough, man. Like, I spent a month, after we had a big fight, and the story's a story, right? So I shouldn't get into the story about this person, but just to give you some background, in the last couple of months that we're breaking up, quote unquote, major events on both sides happened that would point towards dishonesty, disloyalty, disrespect, all the above in that sense. And I was, very, very at a high emotional state level that I was not finding an ability to control or to calm. So I started drinking, and smoking 20 times more. When I first started smoking, it was a half a joint a day for a couple weeks, and then a joint. And then, as soon as there was an issue that happened, and this is the problem with these kind of things for me, is that was my crutch. That was my automatic wheelchair. As soon as things went south, I just went straight to that. And it might be okay, for some things, for some substances, or for some medicines, or some practices. It's a good thing to go straight to, especially when it's healthy. And many people think marijuana is, healthy plant medicine, which I do believe. But once again, it just wasn't for me. So the last month of just, drinking, of blackouts, of smoking, of trying to talk to like women and like being validated by them. I'm not an ugly guy. I'm fucking 6'2", dark skin and tall and handsome and big smile and big heart. So of course, like, I'm gonna, be able to meet and talk to women. But when I do that naturally, it's me. It's just part of who I am. It's just part of me wanting to connect with the world, and I love that part about me. However, when I'm in these positions where I'm feeling thrown away, my ego is hurt, and I'm hurting. I'm not looking for that connection. I'm looking for validation for others of what's going on with me. But I need a woman to meet me at the bar and say like, "Hey, you're cute. I might go home with you," like, to try to validate me. And what I learned this time is it's not enough. After 35 years, when I was 21 to 30, even, like, going through a breakup in a relationship, I knew what to do. Hop on a fucking flight, go to Vegas, go to Mexico, go to Party City, let it out, sleep with some girls, and in a week or two, you're feeling better. This time, it was a lot different. I believe it's not only like a much deeper and stronger connection that was formed. However, it's also the place where I am in my life. Just more mature, emotionally, mentally, physically, everything. And I'm feeling things on a deeper level. And the deep level of connection that I had with that person that I've never had with anyone else on a spiritual, mental, physical, real plane. So yeah, I used my crutches of alcohol and marijuana, and I even almost, I did start getting like a couple pills again, which is like that slope for me, that slope where I start on that, and who knows, like, I haven't taken it all the way down the rabbit hole since I've stopped, and I don't want to. But that could go down to leading towards a life that I let go of, 10 years ago, that took an immense weight off my shoulder and allowed me to get to where I am today. And I won't put that in jeopardy anymore. And I was putting it in jeopardy by doing that. Very, very seriously in jeopardy. And once again, I'm just really proud I caught myself. And I'm not going to go into the whole story on this first episode, though, but definitely going to keep getting into it. I want to just kind of slowly come to the end of this because I'm in the middle of some church and cathedral that's actually beautiful, and I really want to go put my bags down and kind of walk around and just vibe out here. Um, but yeah, so long story short, I ended up finding this retreat in Portugal and Costa Rica and a lot of places, and I had so much chatter in my mind going back and forth. I didn't meditate, I didn't do any yoga, I didn't do any of that. I just forced my body, my rocky, crazy mind to be like, hey, you got to go or you're going to fucking die. Or you're going to hurt somebody else, you're going to be in trouble, you got to go. And I got myself out of LA and got myself over to Portugal and into a retreat around literally angels sent from above that were there. I don't want to sound selfish, but just for me. Like, I literally feel like they were putting everyone, from Sonia to Nick to Julie to Mario to Vitor to Heather to Lisa, even Pushkin. Like, man, I really feel like every single person at that retreat was put there right for me. And my goal and my intention at that point was, one, to let go of marijuana 100% completely, and two, to let go of a lot of my attachments I have to the relationship and my ideas of love, versus attachment as well. And number one, I was able to do a lot of crying and bad feelings and sweating it out and surfing and yoga and meditation and vegan food and fruits and alkaline every single day. The attachment part, the trauma bonding and all that has proven to be more difficult. Also, didn't listen to a lot of things when I was told, I should not be having too much conversation, right now with that person. It's just, and the reason for that is this, y'all, like, when we come to these points, we're all hurting, we're breaking up. Usually the things people say aren't meant to hurt you and aren't meant to bother you. And usually the intention is for the other person to release more things out. However, that's not always how it's going to come. A lot of times, you're going to not be the same. People are not going to be talking much anymore. It's the same. And there's things that's going to get kind of lost in translation there. And it's a dangerous place to be. So, still currently working on that, traveling alone. And it's up and down, man. I have beautiful days and I just see things around me that are so amazing and so synchronistic and connected. And then I get back to my hotel and try to meditate and end up crying for 45 minutes into a pillow and try not to, hopefully that my neighbors don't hear me. But I'm in front of a beautiful cathedral, which is a video podcast right now because I would love what I'm looking at. Yeah, this is where I am. You know what? I accept it, accept myself and love myself where I am. And I have been repeating that daily. And if I haven't, I probably would not be okay still. I have a very, very bad pattern of beating myself up. In fact, my best friend Sean, he's the one that actually made me stop hitting myself. I used to, get a little bit drunk and just start punching myself in the face and get mad. I'm still trying to punish myself. And I realized now I've been through so much shit. Why do I still feel like I need punishment? And it's a pattern. It's nothing but the patterns. It's the thought pattern. It's the pattern that I've been used to. And that's the trauma bonding, the attachments that after 30 years of just being so numb to it and not being conscious of it, that it's fucking tough to break through at this point. And if you're on the same journey, same path, same struggle, and you're listening in, first of all, thank you for listening. These things are really important to talk about as men, as women, as humans. And I'm glad if it did touch you, that you were able to tune in. The next step, even further, and I'm asking more for myself, honestly, is to talk, is to reach out when you hear these things on podcasts and put your 2 cents in, put your heart into it. Tell me how you feel. It doesn't matter what other people think or what other people feel, but however we are, a collective human experience, we're all here together. We can all help each other. And I think we're all meant to help each other. We're not supposed to be separate always. We're supposed to be connected and in love. And that's been a tough one for me because, everyone says you got to be good alone, you got to be alone. And I'm like, I don't really want to be alone. I really like connecting with people and sharing my love and giving that out freely. And that's what I'm going to do. I take my time in the morning and the evening, myself in my hotel or wherever I am in the world. I'll let shit out, cry a little bit, laugh a little bit, talk to myself a little bit, all the crazy things. And then I move on past that and start my day and go connect with the world and figure out what's going on with them. Make one of them smile. Learn about their life. See where their taxi to Toyota to Albufeira to trying to get to Spain life journey has taken them, and what can I learn from them, or how much can it make me smile and fill my heart up. So yeah, that's where I am, y'all. And this is where I am right now in my Sevilla, España. I'm gonna go for a walk and check everything out. Thank y'all for tuning back into season 2. I'm sure that we will continue on this path together and grow, learn, and wishing all you guys all the best. Peace, blessings, light, and love. If you want to buy me a coffee, I'm in Europe, so they're in euros. That means that $5 espresso is going to be amazing. I'm going to be very grateful for it, and I'm going to be thinking of you while you do it. The next step on that, y'all, if you want to buy me a coffee or support me in any way, honestly, right now, the only thing I would request and ask for people that know me or care about me is just the communication talk. I'm not looking for answers outside of myself, but I do enjoy the brainstorming and the collaboration and the talking about it and the learning and the feedback as well. I'm not attached to either of it either way. Once again, peace, love, and blessings. Let me go check this beautiful city out. Bye, y'all.